While I taught biology as well as an online course in basic computer skills, I would often use a rubric to show where students did well and where they missed the mark. This helps to minimize confusion when it comes to how did the student perform. It provides a reference tool for both the instructor and the student to say, hey, these were the expectations. This is where I met the expectations. This is where I fell short. And this is where I even went above and beyond what was expected. Some of the struggles that I have experienced has been when students would miss a whole section of instructions. So that's why it's important not to just read the instructions when you first get the assignment, but to actually keep going back to the instructions as you progress throughout the project to make sure you don't miss anything. It's almost like a recipe. If you specifically a baking recipe, now when you're cooking savory dishes, chances are you could taste it along the way. But when you're baking, once you mix everything in and you stick it in the oven, that's it. It's done. And then you'll be able to taste the final product once it comes out. Sure, you can taste along the way, but sometimes the textures and the quality of the product really depends on what went into the process of making that cake or making that bread or making that brownie or cookie. And you can't tell that you put too much or too little baking soda until after the fact. So you want to make sure that you are constantly going back to the instructions, constantly going back to the rubric and checking it up against the progress of your project or your paper. This is a very important step to continue to revisit over and over again as you work on your work. With instructions and rubrics and dates and deadlines, it's important to organize yourself. Perhaps you have a draft due and then you get a chance to submit the final draft.